I'm going to be attempting to do a bit of a creator guide. Going to go over some basic tips and tricks and things I do to create stuff. Just keep in mind that I am not a very good creator. There's a lot of other people that are way better, but I'm hoping that the stuff I show you will help you guys at least want to get started in creator and see what wild and wonderful things you guys can do. And don't let your it's a great place to let your imagination and your creativity run wild and see what you can do. So we will start with races and land races today. As you can see, we got lots of options. We got deathmatch, race, capture, last team standing, king of hills, survivals. Loading creations will be something you will do when you actually have something saved and you need to get back to it later, because might not want to get everything done in one go. Maybe you'll need to take a couple days to figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. But we will get into the race. The tutorial is kind of good to go through. It will give you some basics and stuff. I will try and do slightly better than what they do. And you've got many options for races. You've got a stunt race, which gives you access to much more props and you can do much more things with it. A land race, which is just a basic race. A sea race, basic race on the sea. Air race, basic race in the air. Arena race will be races that you do in the arena mode, and those can be pretty interesting. And I don't know if they would count for arena war points or not. It would be interesting to see. Maybe I'll create one day to find out. And open wheel races are for the F1 cars that they added into the game. So if you wanted to make yourself a little circuit race and you're into that kind of thing, then this is the place to go. So I think we will start with just the land race because they're kind of simple. Okay, now first thing you want to do is kind of figure out about where you want to start your race. And of course, yeah, it can be anywhere. Of course, this is just going to be as quick a guide as I can do. I can't guarantee it will be super quick. Let's see here. I think we're just going to do like a basic land race. So I'll just kind of make a really quick one just to kind of give you guys an idea. Mind you can. I'm going to do it. This is just kind of a quick overview on the stuff that is here and what you can do with it. Actually, I know. We'll do a simple one around the racetrack. So, of course, first things first is if you want to work on your race details, you can do your title. You don't have to do your description right away. You can wait on that until you get it more created and know what you want to do. The photo is something you will take when you are done, and that will be what people will see when you send the jobs out and they look at it on the phone or when they're in the lobby. Search tags will be stuff you can add on to it, so when people are searching for your particular creations, if you put tags in there like GTA race or whatever kind of race it is, or maybe your player name, whatever you decide for tags, it may help people find your races easier if they're going to search for them. Maximum players, of course, is how many people you can have in your lobby, and it can go all the way up to 30. And of course, the lowest number you can do is 2. So we'll go to 30. Now, race types. Standard is a regular race. You're pretty much everybody's in their car. There, and as you can see in a little description, that there are no weapons, armor, and health. So it's just a basic standard run-of-the-mill zoom race. Non-contact means there'll be no contact throughout the race at all, so you don't have to worry about people trolling or bad drivers getting in your way. You can just zoom away. There are some minuses to non-contact races, as you won't be able to slipstream anybody, and that's kind of really the really one big downfall that I can find to non-contact. There's no slipstreaming. Route type will be the type of race you want to do. Laps, of course, is self-explanatory, just how many laps you want your race to be. Point to point will be a race that starts at one point and ends at a different point. I think we'll do laps for this one. Number of laps, of course, is how many laps you want for the race to be completed. Starting grid size. Now we're getting into some interesting things here. Depending on the vehicles you want for your race, you'll want to choose a grid size between large, medium, and small. We will touch on the grid size in just a second. We're going to get to vehicles. Now, depending on how you want to do your race, you can do available vehicles. And for small, you'll notice that you only get motorcycles, cycles, and go-karts. But if you go up to medium, you get a larger selection of cars. You get compacts, sedans, SUVs, coupes, muscle, sport classics, sports, super, motorcycles, off-road, utility, cycles, open wheel, go-kart, tuner, and of course large grid will give you access to almost every vehicle that there is that they'll let you race with anyway. And there's 16, so only one extra one, and that is, I'm not sure, vans maybe? Yeah, I think it could be vans. That's what I get for not paying attention. Let's go back to medium and double check, because I think it is vans. Yeah, so vans is what's added for large. So now, when you're in the class of vehicles you want, you can press square to expand, and you will get a list of all the vehicles that are available to that class. If you want to make a race, let's say that would be a Panto only, then you would get rid of all the other cars that are here. And then you will just have a Panto. And then you can turn off all the other classes if you want just a Panto only race. And there we go. Now, see, default class will be compacts. That will change if you have more than one class of vehicle, depending on how you want your race to be. And of course, your default vehicle in that class if you want it to be different. Now, ambient settings will let you say, it says set up the ambient world, such as the time of day and weather. So you can do specific time of day, and you can pick what hours. I believe it runs on a military clock. Yes. So you can kind of figure out how you want your race to be if you want it at an exact certain time. For weather, you can change it between foggy, thundery, overcast, cloudy, clear, smoggy, raining, bright, and current, which will be whatever the weather is in the lobby that you are in. Traffic, default will mean it will be on, and you can turn it off if you don't want any traffic on the roads, if you want a nice clear race. Blimp text. Now, in the props, you have options to set down blimps that will have a saying. So this is where you can put the what you want on your blimp, up to 60 characters. So let's see, we'll just go. We'll just see Panto. So if you do decide to place a blimp, you'll know that you will have that there. Okay, wanted levels, you can turn on or off depending on how you want your race to be. Background music, that's the ambient, that will be like the in-game music you hear. Depending on how you have your personal settings too, if you have the music set down, this won't matter, but if you do have the music on, you can either turn this to off, or you can go through different settings. They have chase, action, and off. Audio track, which will be different tracks that will play, and they have from different parts of the game: Doomsday Heist, Smuggler's Run, Gun Running, Import-Export. So lots of different audio tracks you can play if you want to. Of course, you can choose the lobby radio with all the different radio stations. You can put it to media player, and I think they have an option that says off if you don't want a radio. But I do not see the option off. But you can always go to media player, and that will be the closest to off when you launch your race. Forced camera view will be if you decide to force the camera view to a certain view. So it's normally set to no forced view, but you can go third person only, first person only, or no forced view. Stunt camera triggers. So when you do stunt races in particular, and you can do them in regular races, but when you want to trigger a stunt camera, this is how you will do it. You can turn it on. Ghost to first checkpoint. This is something new they added recently to help prevent with trolls and people who like to grief during races, or just to help with the big cluster that can happen at the beginning of a race. So everybody will be ghosted until the first checkpoint, and then after that you'll be able to make contact with each other if you're in a standard race. Anti-grief ghosting. This is more to stop the trolls and the griefers, especially if you're going to make more of a stunt race with ramps and stuff. So at least they won't be able to interfere in the race too much with any luck. But be careful, people always try to find ways around those things. Catch up. This is a bit of a controversial issue for some people. It'll be up to you if you want to turn it on or off. If it is turned on, it tends to slow down the person who's in first place, so it's not handy for races that have jumps where they need to be at full speed to make them, and that will kind of screw the guy in first place at times. So once again, that will be your choice if you wish to have it on or off. Ambient pedestrians. This will turn any pedestrians on or off that may be on your track. Probably a good idea to turn them off, but if you want to cause extra chaos in your race, then you can leave them on. Path recording options. This will give you the menu. We'll click on it, and it will let you know how you're going to do your path. That might make it a little easier for you when you're placing your checkpoints. I probably won't get into too much path recording options because I usually don't use this option for me personally, but perhaps I will get into it a bit and then cover it again a little more in depth down the road. And of course, sent blip text, you can find that again here if you wish to change your blimp text. Custom vehicles. Now, for people that have custom vehicles, if it's open, they'll be able to select any type of custom vehicle they have in that class. So that's something to keep in mind. If you turn it off, it disables all custom vehicles, so everybody has to race in a stock car if you want a more fair race sort for people that don't have their cars fully modded. And restricted will be only the vehicles that you have chosen in that class. So for this one, it should be restricted only to Pantos, since I have that as only the only vehicle you can use. Allow vehicle speed boosts. You can set this option if you choose to make a race with Toreadors or Vigilantes or any vehicle that has a speed boost to use it. Stunt RP bonus. This you can turn on for when you crash or get flipped out, you get a small amounts of RP. So you might want to turn that on just to give a little extra RP, especially if you have a race that's wild and crazy. And change race type. If you want to change the race of your type, you can do that here. There are several glitches and exploits that you can use this for to get extra checkpoints and change things around. I'm not going to get into that very much today, as I do not know very much about it, but I have heard about it, so I just thought I would pass that along, that it is something that is out there. Rank. Now, it says the minimum rank a player needs to be before they could partake in the race. That is an incorrect. What rank means is actually the amount of laps you can set at the beginning of the lobby. So default means that you can have to 1 lap for minimum, and maximum will be 99. So you can create your race so that it will always be 2 laps. No matter what, people will not be able to change it, or if you decide to change these options. So keep that in mind about if you're going to do your race or not. Okay, and that's all that for that. So we will do a quick title. Let's go. Okay. Now, of course, description will be what you want to do or how you want to describe your race. Just make it really quick. And don't be afraid to use your predictive text to make your things a little faster. Okay, now photo we won't worry about. I've covered most of the ones here. Let's get into placement. Now, of course, the most important thing to do is place your trigger. This will allow you to light up all the other options for pickups, props, stunt jumps, and everything else. Your trigger, you'll want to keep close to where your starting line will be because they will put a big circle down and you will need to keep your starting line in that circle. So let's see here. Put it there. Okay, lobby camera we will cover in a moment, but lobby camera always goes by your trigger, and it will just kind of, players will kind of see this as they come in. So I don't think I'll do that just yet. So now we'll go checkpoints. So now you can see there's a big green circle around where the trigger is, and we want to get our vehicles placed in here if we can. Now sometimes you're able to switch between medium and large because of what you have selected. So as you can see, large kind of spreads it out a bit, seems it. Now if you want to get rid of the stunt grid layout, you could say yes. But chances are you'll probably want to adjust the grid dimensions to make everybody fit. Hey, when it turns yellow, then you know you can place it. And boom, the first checkpoint is placed. Now, there's many, many different ways you can place checkpoints. You can use this view here, kind of top down. The minus to that starting point is I want them to go this way. But keep in mind you can always edit things too. Once you hover over it again, you will notice that X turns into edit. There, it's a little better. Now, let's check our props out. So pickups, I'll just go over this real quickly. This will be if you do a GTA race. So that will be in the race types too. I can't believe that wasn't in there, but a GTA race gives you weapons and armor, and you can get out of your vehicle to shoot people if you choose to. And there's all the different categories. Special gives you health, rockets, and boosts. And then of course all the different weapons. Now props. Now, even for regular races, you still have access to most of the stunt props, if not all of them. You'll notice that you have a model memory, you have 20 dynamic props, which we will get into shortly, and 200 regular props you can place. So depending on how you want to do things, you'll see there's many different props here. There's stunt track with barriers, raised stunt track, stunt barriers, stunt tubes, neon stunt tubes, big neon arrows, stunt air tubes, stunt checkpoint rings, stunt air gates, inflatable gates, building blocks. We'll zoom in a bit on that. Neon building blocks, jumps, set pieces, street signs. So you get some different options there. Special, this is where you'll find your boosts, your slowdowns, your boost refillers for the vehicles that have a boost if you're going to do a special race. And then air boosts, and these you can place on the ground too. They will still work as a boost. And of course fireworks. And there will be hoops of fires in different sizes. And then a public address system, which will have different noises that you can change and listen to. Oops, I didn't want to place it. We'll delete that. And then audio speakers. There's different sounds, of course. Not a lot, but still, it's something different to have in your race if you want to have different sounds, maybe to freak people out. Yeah, that's pretty much all the stuff in there. Race buildings, of course. And you can use these props pretty much any ways you choose. You can use them as barriers. If I wanted to, I could put that down here. And kind of have a bit of a barrier so people can kind of go the way I'm hoping they'll go, that I would wish for them to go. And you could change it around. Now, if you notice now that it's kind of won't let me place it, if you go to allow prop stacking and turn it on, ta-da, you can place things. So prop stacking is very handy for placing stuff that you know. It won't work every time though. There'll be certain places you won't be allowed to place things, and too many props in an area can be an issue too. So let's spin it around so at least people get to see garages. Now, we'll get into the advanced options a little bit. You have two options here, override position and override rotation. We'll get into position first. Now, once you click on use override and you move down, you can have two alignments. You have world and local. I usually tend to use local when I'm messing around, but you can use whatever you prefer. As you can see, it kind of changes how it will move the things around on the map. So X usually moves it left or right. Y will move it up and down. Or side to side, however you want to say it. And Z will give you your up and down, your vertical. Now also if you hold in square or triangle, you can fine tune it so you can move it really slow. This will come in really handy when you want to place props together that you cannot snap. And we will go over prop snapping shortly. So we will place that there. Now we will place another checkpoint. So keep in mind that the cars that are red will not spawn in when you have to respawn. So that will be up to you. You always need to have at least one car that can be spawned in. So we'll put another one there. Oh, keep in mind too, you'll notice that this is lap length, 0.33 miles. Your race will need to be so long, it needs to be greater than 1 mile. Okay, so now we got kind of our cars coming into the track and going around. Now let's say that we want to have them leave the track. So let's go down here and see if we can make some kind of ramp to get them out of here. Where do we want them to go? Maybe on that road down there. Okay, that'll work. So now we will go into props. Let's see. Templates. Yes, we will definitely cover templates soon. So let's go into jumps. So each category has its type category, and you will find many different ramps in here. So you can look through and decide what you want to do. If you press down on the L3, you will go up in the air. If you press down on the R3, you'll go down in the air. For your rotation type, this is your world heading. This will allow you to spin it left and right. And then yaw allows you to change the yaw, which will be left and right. Sometimes the arrows don't always tell you the truth, but you will get the hang of it in a hurry. If you also don't like what you did with your prop, you can also back out and reselect it, and it will bring it back to the way it originally came in. And then roll is a bit there. See how it rolls. And then we have pitch, which will be kind of up and down. So let's look. We want to get a decent ramp here. Now you can also choose the colors of your ramps too. Here we'll go with a nice dark one, I think. We'll keep prop stacking on. Go to advanced. Position. Override. Now the best part about going into advanced options is you can look around without fear of your prop being moved around. And you can also, if you go back to, you can change your headings too, so that way when you go back into advanced options, you can make some slight adjustments with your L1 and R1 buttons. As you can see, with that you can really get close and see how much you're off. See, how's that looking? Not bad, not bad. Still looks a little off, though, here and there. Maybe you can. It doesn't look that bad, actually. A little off here or there, but that should work. So it should give us a ramp. So we'll put that down. Now, since we want our cars to really zoom when they're going off the ramp, we will put down some boosts. Now, for boosts, you have many options. You can set the intensity to weak, normal, strong, extra strong, ultra strong. Now, we'll get a bit into switching the camera so you can kind of mini test things without testing them. When you want to switch the camera to be in the vehicle, you need to make sure the ground is level, and you press your touchpad, and there you go. You can also crate in this mode too. I usually don't, I find it kind of difficult, but some people find it easier. This will just give an idea of how far the car is going to go. Oh yeah, I just hit her fly. So go back into options, switch the camera. So that's interesting. I think what we'll do, we'll go props. So this will be kind of covering some stunt races as well. I guess we'll be covering stunt and regular race. So now we want to put something for them to land on. So maybe a road. Let's see. No, a track with barriers. Now we can change the colors of these too. We'll probably want to turn prop stacking on. Also keep in mind with prop stacking on, you won't always be able to edit your pieces. You'll have to delete them, so keep that in mind. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Maybe we'll do kind of a long one. And we'll do a quick test to see if the car will actually make it. Now keep in mind too that when you're testing it with these cars, they are not custom, they are stock. So if you're making the race for custom cars, you might need to make some adjustments. but you need to make sure that you can also test it as well. Not bad. It will kind of make it. So maybe I'll put something a little larger up there. Options, details. Here's what I think I'll do instead of the road up here. Oops. I want to go to props. And delete. Now let's see. Go some building blocks. I guess we'll do it this way so that way we can kind of show you guys how the prop snapping will work. Okay, so let's pick a color here. We'll go orange or blue. Now for prop snapping, you can bring a prop, most props right next to them, and they will snap together just like that. Keep in mind that they will not always snap perfectly. So you will need to double check to see if it is where you like it. You could always go into advanced options, but keep in mind that sometimes when you go into advanced options it will unsnap it. But it seems to look pretty well actually. Looks like it worked out good. Seems to be pretty level. So we'll put one like that. Get rid of the override. And then you can turn it off. Yeah, you notice how it's kind of not snapping right there. Sometimes you'll have to spin it. There we go. There, and that gives us a bit of a landing pad. Let's see if that works a little better now. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so let's do a quick little testaroo. Oh yes, and when you're going to switch your camera to the way that you are facing is the way your vehicle will spawn in when you switch. Which will make it easier for when you want to do these things. Looks like it should make it. Oh yeah, no problem. In fact, he's probably going to go way over. Well, that's good to know. Go into placement. So now we can go props. We can go up here. On. Shrink it down until it snaps. Delete these. Boo, boo, boo. see if this works now. Wrong button, Jason. Okay, here we go. Nice, it just barely makes it. So now we can put a checkpoint up here. Placement. Checkpoints. Now let's go back to take a look at our ramp. Let's see about putting in a stunt jump. Just to see how much that changes the view of everything, because that can kind of mess things up a bit. So now we want to place the launch point. Now we want to select where the camera location will be. So we'll go up in the air. That's too high. Let's go down a bit. Now another way to see how you're doing too is to go to test. And this is a good way to give your track a quick test run. Here we go. Oh, that's not bad. Now, when you're also doing the test too, if you exit the test, it will put you right where you exited your test. Right where you ended up in the vehicle. So, that kind of works out. So now, let's put something interesting here. Let's go placement, props. Let's look for some fireworks. Those are in special. Now you have many different options for fireworks. You can have smoke. You have all the different fireworks. You can turn that to constant. Now, will that work with the... I wonder if the fireworks should be constant. That'd be awesome. You actually want to get rid of those. Delete. Okay, so we'll go front first. All racers, all laps. So there's no constant for fireworks, okay? It's good to know. But that your effect radius, your trigger effect radius will depend when the racers hit the outer edge of the circle is when the fireworks will trigger. So if you want them to see them like as they hit the ramp, you'd want to extend your trigger circle all the way out there. And then you could change the color of it, of course. But I think we're going to put smoke. And then we're just going to put the smoke to constant. And see what color of smoke. We'll put yellow smoke on the ends. Okie dokie. Now, we'll probably want to start building back down to where the casino is. So let's go props. Now you could snap these props together too. Let's get a color selected. Oh, maybe not. Oh, yes you can. But keep in mind it might not always snap it where you want it. So, turn it on. Advanced options. And you can't see, there we go, right position. As you can see, when I took it away, snapping off, it didn't quite put it on very straight. If you can move your camera and get it really close so that way you can kind of, oops, get things dressed the way you want it. Looks like that'll work. Okay, now another thing to show you about prop snapping is once it's snapped, by hitting your L1 and R1 buttons, you can change the angle. Also, in advanced options, you can go to snapping options, and you can decide if you want proximity snapping, triggered snapping, chain snapping, set position overrides on snap, and snap rotation angle. So that, let's say if you wanted a 90-degree angle. I see. So when you do that, it sets to like 90 degrees when it snaps. So each time you press the button, it kind of moves 90 degrees. Okay, so now that we've kind of gone over that a wee bit, let us see if we can get the track down to where we want it to be. So let's go props. down. Okay, let's get a turn going here. Oops. Okay, now let's go take a quick look. And another quick tip I can give you. Change the color. Now, as you see that I can't really edit that, right? So I will delete it. We will turn prop stacking off. Bring it up. Now, when you notice it's on edit, if you press the L1 and R1 buttons, you can change the color after you've placed it, which might make it easier if you decide that you want to change different parts of the track. Oops, it would help if I would actually place it though. There we go, we got that stuff placed. So we got a stunt jump, we got some fireworks. We've placed some props. I've showed you a bit how the advanced options work. Now let's get a few more checkpoints placed. Now I'll show you another way that you can do checkpoints too. Driving in your car, you can activate the menu. And then you can kind of see how you like things. You can spin it around and see how you like the placement of the vehicles and everything. So this isn't a bad way to do it. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention about checkpoints. You have different checkpoints to choose from. You have standard, large, extra large, and then the style, you can do circular or the regular. And then you also have primary and secondary checkpoints. I will get into that when I do the stunt race. So that will just be a primary. Place a few more. You can see it's over 2 miles now, so we definitely have a big enough race. Oops. Ooh, that fixture could be in the way. Well, let's check that out. Fixture remover. Now, this will be if you want to get rid of something, like stuff that's normally hittable or movable. And you'll notice a square will go on it. And it will show you what it looks like when it's gone. That way, if you are worried about things that are going to get in the way of your race, it may throw people off that you don't want to. And you can remove up to 40 fixtures. But just keep in mind, it's only stuff that when you collide with will be moved. Let's see, that one should be okay. I don't think those will really be in the way. But just if you want to okay, so let's get the rest of our checkpoints placed. There we go. Just a quick overview. I didn't run through 100% everything. So now we will go to lobby camera. And this will be the picture that people see when they come in. So take a picture. Perfect. So now you notice we still have a couple red exclamations. We'll need to get those done before we can actually publish the race, which will allow other people to play it and actually rate it. And a photo. So this will be the photo that people will see just as you're launching the job. They will see it when they're in the lobby on the corner. So we'll back it up a bit. Usually a good idea to kind of, for this picture, to give people an idea of what they're getting into. And now we test. Now you only need to complete one lap for the test to count. I should have gotten rid of some of those fixtures too. Nice to see how that smoke is all lit up nicely. Let's go, Mr. Panto. Yeah, there we go. And that's a test. So we can exit. And now we have the ability to publish the race if we choose. We should at least save it first. And it has been saved. Now once you've saved the actual race, as long as you've done a test, and it's a test that counts, you do not have to publish it right away, but you can save it and then test it with your friends, and then any feedback they give, you can come back and you can go into load save creation, which we will do now. So let's say you've done the race and people say, well, that was okay, but I think you should make a few changes. So we'll exit out. And then we will go to load creation. You will go into the saved tab and you will look for your race. To do this Panto track race. Now keep in mind that once you have something published, once you go in to it, it will be kind of hard to save it right away. You will need to complete a test before you could, or well, once you make a change. So you'll see that right now everything's fine, but let's say I decide to go into placement and fixture removers. And let's see here, we will get rid of this one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Try and get rid of as many of them as we can. Less things to smack into. Well, okay, now let's say that you had to, I'm kind of surprised that didn't make a change to it. I guess moving a prop will do it. So let's just go to props. We will edit this prop and move it just a tiny bit. Now you'll notice that test is lit up. So you cannot republish it again until you actually do a complete test. You can resave it again though. So at least you can resave any changes you've made. If you don't like the changes you've made, you could always just back out and come back in, and then it will be from the last time you saved it. And I also like to, if I'm going to update one of my races, I usually like to create a saved copy. So I will show you guys that very quickly. So we will exit. Yes. Okay. Let us go to load creation, published. Find the race you want to do. We've got lots of stuff here. That's all ages. All my last team standings. But it's so much easier to find that before. Panto check race. Oh, this is the okay. Oh, so you didn't publish it then. Duh. I'm brain fighting today. Okay. So, yes, saved. We want to go into here. Panto check race. So, since it didn't save any changes I made, I'll just publish it. Yes. So now everybody will be able to find it on the social club, and you should be able to put it up no problem. Now we'll exit. Now that you've published it, you'll no longer have a saved copy. So if you want to make a saved copy, you go into published. Ooh, no, I wanted to. That's a good thing about this is it has kind of a good memory, so back out. Load creation. Published. Will be on the page you're on. Now if you press triangle, it will create a saved copy. And we want to say yes. Now we go back. We go to saved. You will scroll through your pages. Find your saved race. And load it up. Now this way you can at least make changes to it without having to retest it if you're kind of tired or don't want to go through it right away. So you go like that. Boom, 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 boom. And it's nice that I don't have to. So when you publish it again, unless you like make changes to the title or anything, you will get a second published copy. But I won't publish this one. I will just exit. Okay, so that kind of goes over a bit of the races and stunt races. We'll do another one here. We'll create a race. This time we'll do a stunt race. So stunt races, you can do a transform race, which will allow you to transform into different vehicles. A special vehicle race, which will allow you to use special vehicles that have the boosts or special abilities. And target assault, which is driving around in weaponized vehicles with two people. One person shoots, the other person drives. Which is actually quite a fun mode. I'm going to have to actually create a race for that one day. So, just for giggles, we will do a transform race. All the same things apply. You want to do your race details, put in your title, your description, any search tags. For transform races, the maximum players you can have is 16. And you still have your standard non-contact for race types. I'm kind of surprised the GTA thing isn't there. So let's see. Let us go way over here. So now I'll just give you a bit of insight. I'll make a transform race. And I'll do my best to impart some tips and tricks. Okay, that's not where I want it to be. Place the trigger. So always remember the trigger is a very important thing to put down first because that will allow you to place everything else down. And I forgot to mention, you can always move your trigger if you need to. But keep in mind that you'll need to keep your starting line, at least for races, close. Okay, now we can place props. Let's see, there, a little lower. Okay, so let's call this one. So we won't worry about the description yet. I want to figure out what vehicles I'm going to have in. So let's go placement. Checkpoints. Okay, let's see here. Oh, we want that to go down in a way. Okay, so I think I'm going to go to details, available vehicles. Let's start with a motorbike. Spin around. There we go. I have to think about this one a little more. Alright. Well, we'll kind of conclude it for today. I will definitely try and get into some a little more next time I do a video. I hope it was helpful. I'll try and be a little more prepared next time I do it. I'm kind of not used to doing these things. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Ooh, I got to enter description. Um, at least we can come back to that later. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you were able to get a little bit of help out of that, and next time I do one, I will have something to do with a last team standing, maybe a death match, possibly a capture down the road. I will let you guys know what I'm going to do. Thanks for watching, take care.